Peace be with you. Welcome to Living Flame Podcast website and Facebook group. Gospel Reflections for Friday in the third week of Easter. Gospel taken from John chapter 6 verses 52 to 59. The dispute is in the synagogue of Capernaum. Jesus was preaching and teaching. Most probably he was emphatically saying that he is the real sustenance, that unless they eat his flesh and drink his blood, they will not have life in them, and Jesus himself will raise them up on the last day. This was so difficult for the Jewish people to accept. No one had spoken like Jesus. And that's why they question, how can this man give his flesh to eat and blood to drink? But Jesus confirms and adds, this is the real food that came down from heaven. And this is what makes them eternal, his flesh and his blood. A very clear understanding here of Jesus' parable or comparison, that I am the vine, you are the branches. You cannot bear fruit unless that you are one with me. And the Father prunes the branches so that these branches may give more fruit. Practically, Jesus is coming to the real conclusion here, that people cannot live without His presence, without His life. We are living in this world. We can have a physical life, material life. We can have human life. We can have life with our friends and family members. But then the divine life to have in our daily experience, we need to be one with Jesus, because He came down from the Father. Those people who ate that bread in the wilderness, they think it was provided by Moses, but actually Jesus says it was given to them from heaven by His Father. They all died. But those who live in Jesus, eating His flesh and drinking His blood means living the life of Christ in our daily lives, and precisely it is consuming the Eucharistic bread. For Christians, the real life is around the Eucharistic table. That's why when we visualize the Last Supper, Jesus taking the bread and breaking it and giving it to His disciples, take this all of you and eat of it, for this is my flesh. And then giving the chalice to His disciples, take this all of you and drink of it, for this is the chalice of my blood, the blood of eternal life that is shed for you and for many, for the forgiveness of sins. So ultimately, it is Jesus Himself who comes to us in the Holy Eucharist, and He sustains us. And that life that we receive every day from the Eucharistic table sustains us in our daily lives. And we are directly connected with the Father through Jesus. So that is one life, practically the Trinitarian experience we have in our hearts, and that expands, like the mystics always spoke about it so richly in their writings, like St. John of the Cross, St. Teresa of Avila, and St. Augustine, St. Thomas Aquinas. All these great doctors and mystics of the Church have spoken the life of God that flows in our hearts, and it expands. It makes us rich and stronger people. Therefore, dear friends, today as we are meditating on these words of Jesus, let us understand the mystery of the Holy Eucharist, the words of Jesus so powerfully entering into our hearts, that unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink His blood, you will not have life in you. And on the last day, Jesus will raise us up to be with Him forever. God bless you.